Good afternoon. This is Akashvani and I am Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi flags off Uttarakhand's first Vande Bharat Express train connecting Dehradun with Delhi, says India has become a ray of hope for the world when it comes to strengthening economy and battling poverty. Power Minister RK Singh says India to have 65% of its power generation capacity from non-fossil fuels by 2030. India to eliminate TB by 2025, 5 years ahead of global sustainable development goal, says Health Minister Mansukh Mandaviya. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announces bid for 2024 US presidential elections. Khelo India University Games to be declared open by Prime Minister Modi in Lucknow this evening. And Indian shuttlers PV Sindhu and Aegis Prannoy sail into quarterfinals of Malaysia Masters in Kuala Lumpur. Prime Minister Narendra Modi flagged off the inaugural run of the Vande Bharat Express train from Dehradun to Delhi through video conferencing today. This will be the first Vande Bharat to be introduced in Uttarakhand. On the occasion, the Prime Minister also inaugurated the newly electrified rail line sections in Uttarakhand. With this, the state now have its entire rail route 100% electrified. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Modi said Uttarakhand is getting its first Vande Bharat Express train today from Dehradun to Delhi. He said the train will reduce the travelling time of the people.
दिल्ली और देहरादून के बीच चलने वाली ये ट्रेन देश की राजधानी को देवभूमि से और तेज गति से जोड़ेगी। वंदे भारत से दिल्ली देहरादून के बीच रेल सफर में अब समय भी काफी कम हो जाएगा। इस ट्रेन की गति तो अपनी जगह है ही, जो सुविधाएं हैं वो भी सफर को आनंददायक बनाने वाली है।
The Prime Minister said India has become a ray of hope for the world when it comes to strengthening the economy and battling poverty.
आज पूरा विश्व भारत को बहुत उम्मीदों से देख रहा है। हम भारत के लोगों ने जिस तरह अपनी अर्थव्यवस्था को मजबूती दी है, जिस तरह हम गरीबी से लड़ रहे हैं, उसने पूरी दुनिया का विश्वास जगा दिया है। जिस कोरोना से लड़ने में बड़े बड़े देश पस्त हो गए, उसी कोरोना को हम भारतीयों ने मिलकर के कड़ाई से टक्कर भी दी। हमने दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा वैक्सीनेशन अभियान चलाया।
Mr. Modi said work on the Char Dham Grand Project with a cost of 12,000 crore rupees is going on at a fast pace.
12,000 करोड़ रुपए की लागत से चार धाम महापरियोजना पर तेज गति से काम हो रहा है। दिल्ली देहरादून एक्सप्रेसवे तैयार होने से देहरादून दिल्ली के बीच सफर और आसान हो जाएगा। रोड कनेक्टिविटी के साथ ही रोपवे कनेक्टिविटी के लिए भी उत्तराखंड में बड़े पैमाने पर काम हो रहा है। पर्वतमाला योजना आने वाले दिनों में उत्तराखंड का भाग्य बदलने जा रही है।
The Prime Minister said since 2014, government has transformed the Indian Railways and now the dream of a high-speed trains is a reality.
साल 2014 के बाद हमने रेलवे को ट्रांसफॉर्म करने के लिए चौतरफा काम शुरू किया। एक तरफ हमने देश की पहली हाई स्पीड ट्रेन के सपने को जमीन पर उतारना शुरू किया। दूसरी तरफ पूरे देश को सेमी हाई स्पीड ट्रेनों के लिए तैयार करना शुरू किया। जहां 2014 से पहले हर वर्ष औसतन 600 किलोमीटर रेल लाइन का बिजलीकरण होता था, वहीं अब हर साल 6,000 किलोमीटर रेल लाइनों का बिजलीकरण हो रहा है। आज देश के 90% से अधिक रेलवे नेटवर्क का बिजलीकरण हो चुका है। उत्तराखंड में तो पूरे रेल नेटवर्क का 100% बिजलीकरण हो चुका है।
Prime Minister Modi arrived in Delhi this morning to a rousing reception after successfully concluding his three-nation visit to Japan, Papua New Guinea and Australia. BJP National President J.P. Nadda, Union Ministers Dr. S. Jaishankar and Meenakshi Lekhi, Members of Parliament, MLAs, party office bearers, hundreds of party workers and people welcomed Prime Minister Modi at Delhi's Palam Airport. Addressing the gathering, the Prime Minister said those who have come to welcome him are people who love India, not PM Modi. Mr. Modi said when he talks about the culture of the country, he looks into the eyes of the world. He said this confidence has come because people of India have formed a government with an absolute majority in the country.
ये जो बदलाव है वो अपने आप में 140 करोड़ देशवासियों का सामर्थ्य है। जो सम्मान मुझे दुनिया में मिला है वो मोदी का नहीं है, न ही मोदी का उस पर हक है। ये सम्मान 100%, 100% 140 करोड़ देशवासियों का है, उनका अधिकार है और मैं ये सम्मान उन्हीं को समर्पित करता हूं।
President Draupadi Murmu today interacted with tribal women self-help groups SHGs in a conference organized by Tribal Affairs Ministry at Khunti in Jharkhand. Speaking at the event, the President praised the efforts of tribal women who have scripted new success stories through active participation program in SHGs. She said tribal women have become more empowered than women of other states.
मुझे लगता है 1 करोड़ से ज्यादा आदिवासी रहते हैं इस झारखंड में, लेकिन आधा है महिलाएं। ये महिला सशक्त है, ये आत्मनिर्भर है और ये फैमिली को तो निश्चित रूप में 1-2 कदम दूसरे राज्य से झारखंड के आदिवासी फैमिली आगे है। ये केवल महिला समूहों द्वारा संभव हो पाया है।
President Murmu reached Jharkhand yesterday on a 3-day visit to the state. India will have 65% of its power generation capacity from non-fossil fuels by 2030. Addressing the Confederation of Indian Industry annual session in New Delhi, Power Minister RK Singh said countries' per capita energy consumption and per capita carbon emissions are one of the lowest in the world. He said net zero is important, but what is more important is that there's a need to provide enough electricity to make sure that the country does not run short of power when one wants to set up an industry. He added that it is non-negotiable. He asserted there will be no compromise on ensuring round-the-clock energy supply, even though it is a challenge. India is striving to eliminate tuberculosis from the country by 2025, 5 years ahead of the Global Sustainable Development Goal. This was stated by Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandaviya while addressing the Quad Plus side event on tuberculosis during the 76th World Health Assembly in Geneva. He said that India is the only country in the world to have developed its own mechanism for estimating its TB burden. He added that the country has witnessed a 13% reduction in TB incidents from 2015 to 2022, surpassing the global reduction rate of 10%. The minister also said that TB mortality in India has decreased by 15% in the same period compared to the global reduction rate of 5.9%. He said that by employing a mathematical model based on local evidence, the country can now determine the true burden of the disease well ahead of the annual World Health Organization report. This is Akashvani giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. As the Narendra Modi government is completing 9 years in office this month, Akashvani News brings a series of special stories on the initiatives taken by the government. The quality of a country's infrastructure is a key determinant in shaping its economic trajectory. The Narendra Modi-led government has made unprecedented investments in modern infrastructure in the last 9 years, taking the country to new heights. A report.
The country witnessed a fast-paced infrastructure development in all sectors in the last 9 years. Over 53,000 kilometers of national highways were added, with rural road connectivity increasing to nearly 99% coverage through the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Indian Railways also witnessed a massive capacity expansion through line doubling and electrification, and the Vande Bharat Express is a major Make in India success story. 15 Vande Bharat trains are already operational and 400 Bharat Express trains are to be manufactured in next 3 years. In the last 9 years, the metro rail projects have reached 20 cities. In aviation section, the steps were taken making it affordable and accessible through the Udan project. 74 new airports have been built and operationalized in the last 9 years. Further, 111 waterways were declared as national waterways. The country also witnessed major constructions during the period like the world's highest railway bridge, the Chenab Bridge, the world's longest highway tunnel, the Adal Tunnel. Mayusha, Akashvani News, Thiruvananthapuram.
Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today said that the scepter gifted by Thiruvaduthurai Adhinam will be sanctified by 20 Adhinams from the state and will be placed in the seat of the Lok Sabha Speaker in the new Parliament building on the 28th of this month by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Speaking to the media in Chennai, she said this is to signify the memorable event which happened during Independence Day in 1947. The minister said that this is a unique event which gives Tamil Nadu a special place. She said the scepter does not signify monarchy, instead it signifies the just rule for the people of the country. To a question on the stand taken by the opposition parties, the finance minister said that Parliament is the temple of democracy and everyone should give the due respect and appeal to the opposition parties to reconsider the boycott. The second G20 meeting of Anti-Corruption Working Group under India's presidency began at the Narendra Nagar in Tihri district of Uttarakhand today. About 90 representatives of G20 countries are participating in the meeting. During the meeting, the representatives will deliberate on the topic International Anti-Corruption Mechanism. Addressing media persons, Union Minister of State for Defence and Tourism, Ajay Bhatt said, the ideas emanating from the meeting will show the way to the world in the fight against corruption. He stated that the fight against corruption needs to be taken as an international campaign for cooperation on a global level. In the United States, the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, has officially declared his candidacy for the Republican nomination for the president of the country. DeSantis rolled out the news with a campaign video and a glitch-riddled hour-long live interview on Twitter with the owner of the social media site, Elon Musk. Before his planned event, DeSantis filed paperwork with the Federal Election Commission. DeSantis has for months been seen as a more serious challenger to former President Donald Trump, who is also seeking to become the Republican nominee to take on President Joe Biden of Democratic Party in the U.S. presidential elections next year. The first Republican primaries will take place at Iowa early in 2024. The stage is set for the grand opening ceremony of the third Khelo India University Games at the Baba Banarsi Das Sports Complex in Lucknow today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will declare open the Games at 7 this evening through video conferencing. More from a correspondent.
Union Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur along with Chief Minister of State Yogi Adityanath will take part in the inaugural function. Hundreds of players from different universities across the country have already reached Lucknow to attend the ceremony. This year, the third edition of Khelo India University Games will be held from today to 3rd June. These competitions will be organized in Varanasi, Gorakhpur, Lucknow and Gautam Buddha Nagar. The Games will witness participation of over 4,750 athletes from more than 200 universities who will be competing in 21 sports. The mascot of the Games is named Jitu, which represents swamp deer, Barasingha, the state animal of Uttar Pradesh. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, Akashvani News, Lucknow.
Top Indian shuttlers PV Sindhu, Kidambi Srikanth and Aegis Prannoy sailed into the quarterfinals of Malaysia Masters in Kuala Lumpur today. The two-time Olympic medalist Sindhu defeated Japan's Aya Ohori 21-16, 21-11 in the women's singles. In the men's singles, Kidambi ousted 8th seed Kunlavut Vidit San of Thailand 21-19, 21-19, while Prannoy overpowered All England Open champion Li Shifeng of China 13-21, 21-16, 21-11 this afternoon. Lakshya Sen will be up against Hong Kong's Angus N. Kalong later in the day. In hockey, India will take on Japan in a Pool A match of Men's Junior Asia Cup this evening. The match will begin at 7:15 p.m. at Salalah in Oman. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi flags off Uttarakhand's first Vande Bharat Express train connecting Dehradun with Delhi, says India has become a ray of hope for the world when it comes to strengthening economy and battling poverty. Power Minister RK Singh says India to have 65% of its power generation capacity from non-fossil fuels by 2030. India to eliminate TB by 2025, 5 years ahead of global sustainable development goal, says Health Minister Mansukh Mandaviya. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announces bid for 2024 U.S. presidential elections. Khelo India University Games to be declared open by Prime Minister Modi in Lucknow this evening. And Indian shuttlers PV Sindhu, Kidambi Srikanth and Aegis Prannoy sail into the quarterfinals of Malaysia Masters in Kuala Lumpur. And with that we end the Midday News.